The other thing is the fact that we don't live to work, we work to live. It's very important to get that work-life balance right if you can. My name is James Foord. I am a professional business developer. That means that I am motivated to achieve targets. I've been doing this job now since I was 21, since I left university, and I've enjoyed great success. I've also enjoyed some calamities as well. For the last 22 years I've been working in the design and architectural business, which unfortunately is quite mercurial by its nature. The work has brought me out to the Middle East, so in fact for the majority of the last 15-20 years I've actually been based in and out of the Middle East, which has been an amazing experience. Because it's been very interesting to be abroad. By virtue of being abroad, you meet people from other countries who've done the same as me. You meet the local people, and also you see, in the case of Dubai and particularly now Saudi Arabia, you see countries going through development. Buildings which I've been involved in are now seen coming out of the ground, which is very satisfying, as I'm sure people can appreciate. I started off in 1987 selling mobile telephony. People could think that was possibly a product, but in actual fact it was a service. Never thought in my wildest dreams when I left university, having read English literature, that I'd become a salesman. I became a sales rep, quite frankly, and I learned how to sell. I learned how to understand that every customer has a problem, need or want, or they're not likely to meet you. Selling mobile telephony, it was a means to an end. It wasn't just having a telephone that you could make or receive calls on. A salesman like me on the road could actually report back into base to pick up leads or to report success in sales. Also attached to that was data enabling the companies to actually see who was going where, who was doing what, how effective the tool they had was in achieving their aims. I was the most profitable salesman in the whole sales force, so therefore I was very good at selling at margin, not just selling in terms of numbers. I did that for 3 years, and from there I went on to American Express Corporate. There I learned the art of the consultative sale. Consultative sale is fundamentally where you get a greater understanding of your prospective or existing client. You build empathy by asking questions, and then you actually build in your product and service geared to the answers that the questions actually deliver. American Express, I introduced the inaugural tailor-made business expense management statement, whereby a customer could actually incorporate within the monthly American Express corporate card statement their own expense management form, which was amazing. I then got blood to the head and wanted a more cerebral kind of career, and I went into the world of design and architecture. I introduced the very first tenant review team in the Middle East for the Mall of the Emirates, which was at that time the biggest shopping mall outside of Canada and outside of China. So it was the third biggest shopping mall in the world at the time, with 265 stores. I won the design competition for a 1 million square metre mixed-use development in Jeddah, which in itself was really quite an achievement. In my opinion and in my experience, effective leaders lead by examples. That means that they are prepared to get their hands dirty, roll the sleeves up. They encourage their team. Encouragement is so important. If you're actually leading by example, you are, by virtue of doing that, in my opinion, you're encouraging them anyway. So you're saying, look, I'm doing this, so come on guys, you can do this as well. That to me really works. Biggest mistake I've made probably is to be too friendly with my staff. I think, rather like, if I can use this as an example, rather like between a father and a son, in my opinion and my experience, there has to be a line in the sand, and that engenders respect. That engenders a little bit of mystery. It also engenders ambition as well. You don't want them to think you're too like them or round the other way. There has to be a little bit of a dividing line, and in the past I have become just a little bit too friendly, and that removes the positive sides of what I've just said to you. I would encourage new managers starting their management level type careers to network as much as possible, and not just network with people who are senior to you and those junior, but also on your own level. Be very careful about who you do network with there. You need to make a judgment on certain people. There will be people there who you may not know, who are jealous of you, who may not want you to succeed, who may be after the same specific goals that you're after. You need to make friends with people as much as possible, but again, have judgment, because you may need those people later on, if things go wrong for you. Allow yourself plenty of time as well when you're in a deadline situation. So you know that you have to produce something by X date, whether it's to your customer or whether it's to your senior management, the people above you. Give yourself leeway, give yourself some grace, so you can tell your team, in fact, that it's actually a week earlier than it really is. So you can check everything, make sure everything's fine. Always give yourself time. There's nothing worse than try and do something in a rush, because if you do that, you're likely to make a mess of it, or your team's likely to make a mess of it. The way that I've always worked with my managers, people I report to, my attitude has always been that they actually work for me. Because in order for me to achieve my goals, my targets, I need to have their cooperation. So I spend quite a lot of time chasing up people who are senior to me, because I need them for information, for permissions on certain things. The other thing which is incredibly important is if you go to your own manager with a problem, always make sure that you've got a solution up your sleeve. Don't just go to your manager and say, "Oh, I don't know what to do." Go there and say, "Look, this is a situation. It might be to do with a client, something internally, whatever it is. It's going wrong and it needs to be fixed. However, I think this is the way we could actually solve this problem. And this is the way that I behave with people who report to me." I say, "Right, I think we can fix this, but what I'd like you to do is just to go away and have another think about it, and we can do it together." And that's a tremendous thing to say to somebody. We can do it together. It's not a brush off, it's being a human being. Very important. The other thing is the fact that we don't live to work, we work to live. It's very important to get that work-life balance right if you can. You want to go to work enjoying going to work, but it's not all your life. It pays the bills. It helps you. It actually ultimately gives you freedom, because you make enough money or pay off your mortgage, then you have ultimately got freedom. And what's helped you get there? Your work has.